The agent making $400,000 a year and the agent making $80,000 a year have the same 24 hours, the same market, sometimes the same brokerage. But here's the actual difference. And I bet you're not going to know what I'm going to talk about. So listen, welcome to Real Talk Now. I'm Jeff Curselli, and today we're talking about something that I consistently see in my current role, as well as what I see throughout the industry, right? And it's the invisible ceiling, where an agent goes from hungry and scrappy to stuck, right? Not failing, not quitting, just stuck, right? And I want to break down why it happens, because I don't think it's what most people are going to tell you it is. I'll be honest about something. So when I was in the real estate business, I had my own brokerage. I started my brokerage right after I got my license, right? In the state of New Jersey, you need to be a broker for 3 years. It needs to be your primary profession, but I wasn't that. So I hired a broker of record. I didn't have any bad habits. I didn't have any good habits. I had nothing to go on. Didn't work in another brokerage, but I had drive, I had hustle. I didn't have any systems. I didn't have any tools. I didn't know how to hold an open house. I didn't know how to do anything. We all know you don't learn that in real estate school, right? But I was smart, and I listened, and I learned, and I talked to a lot of people. So I hired a broker of record, had my own brokerage, and I had that for 11 years. And I got licensed in multiple states. I sold everything from foreclosures. I probably sold 400 foreclosures to being licensed in New York and selling pied-à-terres and condos, not co-ops. They're a nightmare, but condos. But I will tell you what happened, though. All of my hustle, most of it, right? Probably 80 to 90% of my hustle did not end in a positive result. It ended with me scratching my head and saying, well, why isn't this working, right? I saw other people in the business making sales, getting listings, right? I sent out flyers. I collected business cards. I went to networking events. I told people I was in the business. Nothing was happening, right? Everything that I got really was through my own sphere of influence, through my circle of people that I knew, but through opportunities that I chased, right? Not necessarily opportunities that came to me. And I'm talking about when I first got licensed. So it wasn't the days of AI, and we did things a little bit differently. It wasn't that long ago, but it certainly wasn't what agents have access to tools today. But I'll tell you, it didn't get better, and sometimes it got even quieter, right? So what I will tell you is what leads to success. And I'm not saying that I did this, but these are things that I've learned in order to be more successful, in order to teach and or coach agents how to be more successful. And I will tell you that the agent at the 80K up to the 150, 200 and beyond, they didn't change their hustle, right? We all have that ingrained hustle in us as entrepreneurs, as agents. But what they changed was their systems, right? Some agents think that, well, listen, just if I work harder, the opportunities will come. But working harder at a broken system, all that does is make you tired, right? It doesn't make you richer. Your CRM is not the problem. Your identity is. And I posted this on a reel on Instagram not too long ago, that don't preach on what you can do. Preach on what you've done. Now, I understand if you're a newer agent, there are different things that you have to do to kind of establish that identity, right? Maybe get on a team, maybe partner with another agent as a junior agent, things like that. But I will tell you that mainly what I'm saying here is change your systems and not your hustle. The other thing I would say is do one thing and do it excessively and obsessively, right? Pick a number, whatever it is. If it's a conversion rate on phone calls, if it's a conversion rate on mailers, if it's door knocking, right? Follow-up calls per week, listing appointments. Think one of those things that is going to help you be successful in the business, and then track it. Create the behavior, create the habit. And you know what? If after 3, 4, 5 months, don't do it in a week and say it doesn't work, but after a period of time that's fair to yourself, if it's not working, then change it, right? Find the system that works for you. I often get asked, knowing what I know today, what I would do differently as an agent. I certainly wouldn't start my own brokerage. I would learn a lot first, right? But what I would do is, I think that the most successful agents, newer agents, or lower producing agents can benefit from being on a team, right? There are many brokerages out there, some, tout being a single agent and all the resources for that. But I truly believe that if you're a lower producing agent or starting out, get on a team, right? A team that has lead generation for you, a team that has systems in place already. Don't try to recreate the wheel. There are many successful brokerages and agents and teams out there that you can learn from, right? That would be number one. The second thing, though, is I would pick the right brokerage. Right? I happen to believe that the firm that I work for is the best. I think it offers not only teams a great environment to grow and prosper, but it also offers the tools for single agents out there for success, whether it's training, whether it's weekly interaction with different facets of the corporate culture. There are a lot of things that I think that the brokerage that I'm aligned with does supply. But pick the right one for you. Right? Do some research on what the interpretation of them is in the market. What do look on the MLS, right? See who's doing the most transactions, what brokerage is. Maybe you want a mom and pop, and maybe that's the way. I happen to think that the days of the mom and pops are probably gonna dwindle as the short time comes on. I think we'll see consolidation. So bigger in this case is better, right? Bigger gives agents more tools to work with, playing on a bigger stage, having the ability to refer business in all 50 states and or internationally, a big thing. So all of that to say, pick the right brokerage for you. And I think the third thing is you need to get comfortable with the failure. You need to get comfortable with the slow time. You need to always keep a positive attitude and realize that, well, this is the nature of the business, right? This is the career path I chose that is not always, it doesn't always result in a paycheck at the end of the month or 2 months or 3 months, right? Get comfortable with that, right? Be smart with your money. Spend your money wisely when it comes to business purchases as well as personal, right? Establish yourself a budget. Right, keep in line with your budget, but I would also say along with that is run your single agent experience as a business. Don't take into consideration, well, I'm my own boss, I could do what I want. I tend to think that doesn't work. What I think you need to do is treat it like a business. Get up in the morning, shower, put on your favorite clothes, right? Go to the coffee shop, interact with people, go to the supermarket, even if you don't have to buy something, say hello to people, wear a name badge, hand out a business card, follow people on social media, right? Follow the largest real estate producers in your market. Look at what they're posting. Learn, and learn even more. When I talk on these podcasts and I post on LinkedIn and I do things like that, I don't just talk to real estate agents, right? I do coach some business leaders and things like that. And what I will tell you is a lot of businesses plateau at a certain level. And I think it all goes back to systems and tools. When we all start, I've owned several businesses. I've been in the real estate business. I've owned some restaurants. I've done a general contracting company. I've done a number of different businesses. And what I will tell you is that I didn't have a great system for many of those, but as I learned and as I made mistakes, I implemented systems. They could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, right? They could be simple things. I mean, now with the advent of AI, we can all have tools. Just feed into your AI what you want, what tool you want, and it'll be created. But I will tell you that create a system for the most important tasks in your business. Listen, I hope this hit home. I'm looking down because I have some notes. I want to make sure that I say a few things. But I think what the number one thing to track every week is whether you move the needle forward on your measurable tasks. Whatever those tasks are that you assign yourself, measure against them and challenge yourself to beat them every week, right? And listen, if you're an agent feeling stuck right now, that's exactly what this podcast is about, and my posts on LinkedIn. I do have a website. It's on my LinkedIn profile. It's on my Instagram profile. Link in there. Maybe we can set up a coaching call, whatever really works for you. Follow Real Talk Now. I hope that this resonates, and I hope to connect with everybody in the future. Thanks.